Damn, this is the third official, but actually unofficial, cast ranking of the year, and it will not be the last. This time we're talking about the second season of Drag Race España, an overall fantastic season that improved on certain aspects of season 1. The Javis being essentially a voting block, the episodes being 7 hours long each, and an overbearing reliance on vulgarity are still present though. However, you can very easily ignore those aspects and still enjoy the season because it's fantastic. This is the point system in place. Let us begin. Well, actually, as always, before we begin, I just gotta give a shout out to all of my supporters on Patreon. Now that I'm recording this, there are no new people, so yes, thank you to everyone that's here now and that has supported me since the beginning. Starting with the last place, we of course have the first eliminated queen, Marisa Prisa. So here's the deal. Whenever I do these cast ranking videos and I get to a queen whom I simply don't remember, either because the season happened a long time ago or because they did not leave much of an impact on me, people think that I'm being rude. And trust me guys, it's always better to be neutral than to be fake good or fake bad, or, you know, just to say something bad. Marisa was the first eliminated queen this season. This season had 11 episodes, if I'm not mistaken, and there were literally 3 seasons of Drag Race next to Drag Race España that have happened since the beginning of the year. Add on to that the fact that I have a life, a job, I go to uni and everything, so yeah, some people I'll just forget about. So, what you can do is tell me in the comments something nice about Marisa. The only thing that I'm going to say is that she should not have been eliminated in episode 1, but it should have been the queen in the 11th spot, Samantha Ballentines, who earned 2 points during her 3 episode stint on Drag Race, having a 0.6 recurring PP score and placing 1 spot below her original placement. I really did not get the judges' infatuation with Samantha. Her lip syncs were extremely messy, and the Javis saving Samantha like 2 weeks in a row was just terrible. I bet that some people find her funny. I sure do bet that. In the 10th spot, we have Jota Carajota. Okay, I remember Jota the most for her performance in the talent show, which I'm going to mention a lot in this video, because that talent show was fucking fantastic. There wasn't a single bad performance there. So Jota Carajota's whole flamenco act was really incredible. Her singing is incredible. She's also a pretty good performer too. I think her only downfall is that she's a little inexperienced, and if there ever is a Drag Race España All-Stars, I think Jota Carajota will have shown or would have shown in that All-Star season how much she had grown. In the 9th spot, we have Ariel Rec, or do we say it like Ariel Rec? She's in Killer Queen's drag family, so like any other person that came onto Drag Race, when somebody that they were drag related to competed in the past Drag Race season, there was immediately some pressure on Ariel, and sadly she did not live up to the Killer Queen's time on Drag Race. However, and as I've just said with Jota, Ariel's talent show performance was not bad. If she had been on an all-star season, and if she had done that, or even like one of the newer regular seasons of Drag Race, if she had done that, she probably would have been like a safe high. Much like with Marisa, I don't think Ariel should have gone home in the 2nd episode, but in the 8th place, we have Diamante Merybrown. So usually when I think about Drag Race España, I don't really think about their lip syncs. However, Diamante Merybrown came and said, oh no, you're going to look at the lip syncs. You're going to make this also an important part of the episode, not just like kind of like a piss break that you can book as your time to think about how the judges are going to fuck up the elimination, because they do tend to do that. Obviously, I don't think that Diamante's fashion necessarily was the best, but truly she was one of the best performers of this season. In the 7th place is, I think many will say, the robbed goddess of this season, Juriji Klee. First of all, Drag Race US. This is how you edit a trans queen. Her experience is mentioned. She is never given extra praise for just being trans, because that's not how the world works. And she's edited as a 3-dimensional person. This season had a lot of queens that were like serious competitors that were funny when they needed to be funny. Juriji was funny the entire time that she was on that season. Her fashions were fantastic. Her roast was fantastic. The episode when she went home, she was one of the better performers. If Drag Race España was given as many episodes as Drag Race Season 14, for example, there could have been like 3 or 4 episodes where nobody could have gone home and when nobody should have been low. The roast being one of those times. Because again, Juriji was just so funny. She played up that whole dumb, pretty girl archetype, but she's not a dumb, pretty girl. She's a very smart, pretty girl who's just playing up the fact that people think that pretty people are stupid. And she plays into the whole stereotype of vanity. Fucking fantastic, guys. Also, her singing. What are we talking about? Fantastic. She can also speak French, which is a plus for me. In the 6th place is my robbed goddess of the season, Onyx. Good God. When the season started and Onyx won the first episode's maxi challenge and then was low for the second episode, I was like, they're giving her the Ugasso edit, which was really funny because they were also giving Sharonne the Carmen Farala edit. But then I was like, oh, they're not gonna repeat that storyline of the highly artistic, very visually interesting queen having a very strong start and then just going home after like 3 or 4 episodes. They did that. They came in and they said, we're gonna do that. And there is nothing you'll do about it because you suck. And I was like, guys, come on, I live here. Onyx's fashions are honestly one of the most important part of this season. You watch the runways expecting to see what Onyx will do. And I don't know what her best look is. Her promo look? Was it her alien bug thing? Was it her fallen angel? I don't know. I was gagged literally every single time that she was on that runway. I love Onyx. If you hear any music in the background, I just want to remind you all that straight people exist and they love to tell you that they're straight by being loud. Continuing on with the queen in the 5th place, Sethlas. Oh my god, she was a transformer in her talent show. Who thinks of that? You know, I was a big fan of Drag Volcano in the last season, and seeing Drag Sethlas here in this season, you know, her being cast and seeing her promo, I was like, oh fuck, they're gonna do it again. They're gonna eliminate her very early on. And they did not do that. Drag Sethlas has one of the most interesting, like visually interesting drag styles I've ever seen. She's extremely funny, she's a good performer, and can I say also she's very attractive out of drag. Sethlas just had to go on and be eliminated in the 7th episode, giving me this headache-inducing PP score, but to be fair, her elimination was, again, quite fair. She lip-synced against Marina, who wouldn't stop dancing the entire time she was on that stage, which is how you're supposed to kind of perform that song, and Sethlas was quite low-key, and then she had those big theatrics and props that might work sometimes, but not when you're going up against somebody who's giving it their all on the stage. Again, it was a sad elimination, but a fair one. And speaking of Marina, I would say that Marina is the biggest surprise for me this season. She came in and I was like, oh, so this is just like a queen that's so far up her own ass, she can't even see how many flaws she has. And then Marina started performing. And I was like, wait, why isn't this the focus of your drag? You're such a good dancer, do more of this. I mean, listen, her looks were also pretty good. And I would say, just like on the dance talent alone, she's the best one this season and the best one overall for Drag Race España. Plus, the story about her family is really lovely. It's so nice to watch stuff like that. We love Marina in this house. In the 3rd place is Estrella Xtravaganza. So the designated comedy queen, let's say, of the season, and sadly sometimes edited as the loud big queen of the season, was Estrella. But here's the difference. Again, Drag Race España being better than Drag Race US, Estrella was actually enjoyable. You could root for her, and even when she received like tiny little bits of favoritism, you would still like, no, Estrella, you're really good. Great job. In the 2nd place is Venedita von Däsh. So, if you've been following me for a while, you probably know that I don't really care for burlesque because I see it as walking on stage and taking clothes off sometimes. I know there's more to it, of course, but sometimes some queens do tend to just do that, and it's like, but they're not doing much. Venedita is not one of those queens. She has a fully realized character, and visually, of course, we have to talk about the fact that she's very memorable. I mean, the whole chin strap beard thing with her beat and then with her style overall is a very nice aesthetic. And in the first spot, we have the legend herself, Sharonne, with 40 points and a 4.4 recurring PP score. I know what some of the comments will be about. Sharonne did blackface. During some of my posts or videos about the season, people would be like, well, why aren't you talking about this? And I'm like, well, because she's not doing it on the show. We can talk about it now when we're talking about her whole picture, but when I'm commenting about an episode when she doesn't do it, obviously I'm not going to mention it. So yes, it sucks that she did that. I think people need to remember that we're talking about Spain here, so a country where things like blackface are not considered as bad, even though they are bad. So it just takes time to learn and to adjust. Basically, give her space to learn and grow. Not much when it comes to her performing and drag and everything, because she's pretty perfect at everything that she does and everything that she did this season. Honestly, it's such a breath of fresh air to watch seasons like this and see a winner like Sharonne, because you're watching a season knowing that she's 100% going to win. That's why it's so refreshing to watch Drag Race España. So, the biggest winner of this season, the queen that placed the most places above her original placement, is Onyx. The biggest loser of the season, aka the queen that placed the most places below her original placement, is sadly Juriji Klee. So here's the thing. After the biggest winner and biggest loser parts of the video, I do the notes section where I talk about the placements of each queen episode per episode. However, for this season, there really wasn't a single episode where the placements weren't obvious, which is why I won't be talking about the placements from episode 1 to episode 6, because again, they simply all make sense. However, we do have to talk about episode 7. The queens there competed in teams and were judged in teams. The middle team were Venedita and Juriji, and Supreme did ask the queens who should go home and why, and some queens did say Juriji's name, which is why it may have seemed, or may still seem to some people, that Juriji was low and that Venedita was high. Kind of like how Kimchi and Naomi, while being partners, were low and high, meaning that Kimchi was low and Naomi was high in their season's top 6 episode. However, here that's not the case, because Juriji's edit and the critiques that she received from the judges were more or less on the exact same level as the critiques that Venedita got. And the other queen's reason behind choosing Juriji did not have much to do with the actual challenge, but rather it had to do with her performance in the entire competition. So yeah, Juriji is just safe here. In the episode 8, we had no safe queens, or rather, no queen was given the safe edit, albeit, and again, I don't think that any of the 5 queens in the episode 8, when they did the roast, was actually bad. It was basically just judging finesses. And in the last episode, we had a double shantay, with Venedita winning the episode and Sharonne being high. And that's it. That's the video. I realized that I did not include the graphs for the track records. If you want to see that too, I can make a separate video with that, so please do tell me that in the comments. Also, in the comments, drop your unpopular opinions about the season. Please do mark them as unpopular opinions so that I can look for them when I actually end up making that video. Thank you for watching.